What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sports Seriously, the Studio 9 podcast. We're talking all things women's sports, and I'm joined by senior WNBA reporter Meghan L, our producer, Sam Cardona-Norberg, as usual. And then we also have national women's sports reporter Cydney Henderson here once again, because she has some boots on the ground insight on one of the topics that we are discussing today. So before we dive in, I've got to ask, how are we all feeling today? This is a little vibe check.
Yeah, it's a hot one out there, but we're hanging in
I was
there.
about to say it's hot,
Mhm.
and I say that as I'm wearing this sweatshirt inside. But it's 96 outside and it's 72 in my house. So I guess I'm fine. I'm living the dream, as the kids say. You know.
I think I have you guys all beat though. I'm in Phoenix, and it's gonna be close to like
You know what,
110
Sid?
this
I'm
weekend, so
sorry I ever said anything. Yep.
Godspeed.
Prayers up, my friend.
Yeah, I don't even think we're getting close to that in Vegas. And normally I feel like I would have a little competition, but maybe not. So I love it. And also I love that we're back because we took a week off kind of with the World Cup of it all. And now we're back together. But let's get into it. We're gonna start with probably the biggest WNBA topic of this past week, which started on June 24th when Phoenix Mercury veteran Alyssa Thomas made what was described as reckless contact with star guard Caitlin Clark's neck during the Mercury's win over the Fever. The call was missed in real time, was later upgraded, and then Alyssa Thomas was issued a one-game suspension. Since then, she's been really open about death threats, online abuse that she's received in the wake of that situation. She also called out WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and the league for their lack of action in an answer to you, I think, Cydney. So can you tell us what stood out to you most about the situation before, but then also as you attended the Mercury's media availability and wrote about it? Just what stood out?
Yeah, I attended the media availability where Alyssa Thomas first broke her silence since her suspension. And one thing about Alyssa is she likes to keep everything about basketball. She rarely wants to talk about her personal life or talk about any of the things that she was experiencing, but she was really forthcoming about the online abuse, racial abuse, and just the toxicity that she's been facing since being suspended. And she said she's all for like trolling and she can take criticism, but this has kind of verged into an area where her and her family both feel threatened. She said she's received death threats, kids have received death threats, her address has been leaked. And she said that the league's response to this has been silence, which she says is not fair and it's not right because if the league is promoting player safety, it should be the safety about all players. She said one thing I thought that was pretty interesting is she said that she has experienced a similar level of vitriol, not to this extent, but when she played for the Connecticut Sun back in 2024, their first round matchup in the postseason was against the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark was on the team at the time, and she spoke out back then in 2024 about some of the similar abuse that she was receiving. And I think something interesting about that is at the time, Stephanie White, the head coach of the Indiana Fever, was coaching Alyssa Thomas in the Connecticut Sun during that matchup when she was receiving that similar abuse. So that is like a little interesting fold because I know Stephanie White has come out and said that she remembers her players discussing that at the time and she remembers the treatment that they received at that time. So she did also, send her best regards to Alyssa and say that it's not okay what she has been receiving. But one other takeaway that I did want to point out from the press conference is that Alyssa said she only learned about her suspension only 10 minutes before it was put on social media when the rest of us found out about it. And she
Mhm.
felt that it would have been the league didn't follow proper protocol as far as reaching out to her about her take or her side of things, and then also in the aftermath. As far as the incident with Caitlin Clark, AT said that it was a complete accident. She said that she didn't even realize that it had happened until after she saw the video replays that were going viral on social media. And yeah, she said that it's been a whirlwind of a week. She did say that this isn't going to affect how she plays basketball, but she is looking for the league to take meaningful action to take a stand against racism, hatred, and this abuse that she's receiving.
Man, Sid, that's like a lot of really good insight. And I think you kind of gave me a perfect segue to turn to Meg, 'cause I know you also covered this situation. And I think what Sid is talking about, some of the silence and like the lack of action from the league and what we're hearing from a lot of people, it touches on this idea of maybe being like reactive versus proactive. And I think that was most obvious in the statements that we got. So we got a statement from WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, but then we also heard from Stephanie White. We've heard a lot from the Mercury. Can you tell us, Meg, a little bit about like how all those comments compare and contrast and maybe what we can take away from all
Yeah.
that?
So first of all, shout out to Sid because she's been doing some really, really good work in covering this and being boots on the ground. And I think the other thing here is what we're seeing right now is basically a they said versus they said sort of situation, and we're not really exactly clear of what has or hasn't happened. Now we have the varying versions from Alyssa Thomas, from Nate Tibbetts, who also spoke up, Kalia Copper, who also spoke up, as well as a statement from Kathy Engelbert. And I'll just read just the first couple of words of that, but it said the safety and well-being of everyone in our community is always the league's top priority. She said she was aware of Alyssa Thomas's comments. She said that the league and their security team had been in contact with the Phoenix Mercury and wanted to protect the players. Now that is very different from what Alyssa Thomas and Nate Tibbetts and Kalia Copper maintained. They maintained that they had not heard from the league. They had not heard from Kathy Engelbert. And I think what's very interesting to me is that Kathy Engelbert's statement came after Alyssa Thomas's comments. So to that point, in the grand scheme of things, it appears very reactive to, okay, a player has spoken out, now we're going to say something. I think that what we should have seen in the previous days was an immediate sort of response from the league, in my opinion, of, hey, we're going to look into this. We will do an investigation. We'll reach out to all parties, and that's where where we'll go. Maybe all this happened before we actually knew about it publicly, but it's the public facing timeline is what that concerns me the most.
Yeah, I think that that's totally valid. No, we hear you. Totally valid and astute observations from you, Meg. Sam, I actually want to turn to you because I think in situations like this, and no, this is no disrespect, but like maybe you have an outside perspective that I think would actually be valuable because in situations like this, we kind of will break into like the mainstream conversation, the WNBA will, when it's like controversy and things like this, especially when it involves Caitlin Clark. And I think we're kind of lucky because Sam covers everything. You know, she's doing it all, NFL, NBA. So for you, how does this situation kind of come off to you and what are you thinking just in
Yeah.
general?
I mean, as someone who is also not a reporter, I'm not writing on it and not getting that same insight that you guys get immediately that maybe, some of us read online after the fact. It's definitely a situation that seems like there's so much like uncertainty that from when it first started that like nobody knows exactly what happened. It's kind of like going to be up to everyone's interpretation. For me, what it seemed like was this did seem like an accident. Obviously, we don't know for sure, but just from seeing the clips and watching the game, like that's kind of what it, seemed to have transpired. But I think what it all boils down to is that yes, like of course things happen on the court that might not be great and might be dangerous to players. And that's something that we don't want to happen. However, on the same page, the fact that Alyssa Thomas is coming out and saying that her children are getting death threats and her family is getting death threats and, personal information is getting leaked online, I don't think that's not something that nobody should have to go through in order, to like have, they're doing their jobs. This is their careers. And that's not really fair that people are going into their personal lives when this is happening on a basketball court. And I think that the league is not doing a fantastic job with handling it. I mean, both Sid and Meg have said some great things on that front and have more information there. But just from somebody who's looking at it, maybe more as a fan as opposed to a journalist, I'm looking at this as this is not being handled right. Nobody seems to be winning in this circumstance. Not Caitlin Clark, not Alyssa Thomas, and not Kathy Engelbert or the league in general. And overall, it just seems like this needs to be done in a different way, and I don't think the league was prepared at all to handle it, which isn't really great because they have been around for 30 years at this point. They should know how to deal with stuff like this.
Yeah, there's one thing I did want to point out. Stephanie White said that she believes a lot of the discourse is being pushed by these online agitators who are kind of using the league and specific teams and specific players to kind of push agendas and narratives. And she said that anyone who is engaging in this behavior is not a fan of the WNBA, kind of to your point, Sam. So that was one thing that I just thought of when you said that. Because White had also addressed that and thinks that a lot of the narratives and like a lot of the toxicity is being pushed by people that are not even fans of the league.
Yeah. I think part of me, I understand the spirit of what she's saying with that. Like racism, homophobia, hate in general, there's no place for it in women's basketball, especially not in the WNBA. I will say though, maybe that's like an oversimplification. I think there can be WNBA fans who are racist or who are homophobic or who are hateful. Like there's nothing to say that that's not possible. And I think actually after through what is it, 3 years now of the WNBA being kind of thrust onto a larger stage and in front of a bigger audience, we've seen like maybe those two things can coexist. There can be people at fever games who are supporting that team who are also making inappropriate noise or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, or who have signs with microaggressions on them about people's nails and all these different things. Like, I think we've seen by now that those two things can coexist, but I appreciate the spirit of what she's saying. And I think that that is valid. And I do think this was a really important conversation. And I'm actually going to use that theme to transition to our next topic, which is all-star starters. I know you're probably thinking like, well, what did these two things have to do with one another? But this is another thing that fans are very, very passionate about. We just got the starters in today. Fans account for 50% of the vote. Current players and us, the media, account for the rest. Also, reserves will be released in about a week, probably. That's decided by the coaches. So first, we'll talk about who actually got the starting nods. I'm gonna have to like pull it up because this is happening like in real time. So it looks like it's Aaliyah Boston, Paige Beckers, Caitlin Clark, Natasha Howard, Olivia Miles, Kelsey Mitchell, Jessica Shepard, Brianna Stewart, Gabby Williams, and Asia Wilson. So that is our starting list. That's the starters for, I mean, if I think I can do math, that's probably 10 starters, like 5 for each team. Um, I would hope. And so I don't know. I think maybe the background I should give is that as media, we are given ballots that are like kind of positionally limited. So we get to select front court players and then guards, 6 front court players to be specific, and then 4 back court players. Um, I'm gonna like open this up and just say I think transparency is important as media. It's like so valuable, I think, for fans to learn where media are coming from and like why we placed our votes. And I will disclose I'm a media voter, so is Meg, so is Sid. Um, that said, it can be difficult sometimes, I think, for media to come out and say, like, this is who I voted for because of the conversation that we just had, some of that online abuse and that harassment. It can get really overwhelming and just like inappropriate and like not okay, I think. I'll say I'm comfortable sharing my ballot. Probably just because I covered the Aces as a beat reporter for like two almost 3 years before this. And so I've dealt with that. It's like it is what it is, but everybody should not have to deal with that. I will start and then I'll just like leave it up. Maybe we just talk about process after this. But my 6 front court players were Leah Boston, Natasha Howard, Angel Reese, Jessica Shepard, Brianna Stewart, and Asia Wilson. My backcourt players were Paige Beckers, Caitlin Clark, Ryan Howard, and Olivia Miles. So I guess the most notable thing about my ballot is that my 2 Atlanta Dream players did not make the list, which I'm actually pretty surprised by. They're one of the top teams in the league right now. And I mean, we'll talk about process. Maybe Meg can talk about process because I'm sure she's aligned with me, at least seeing where I'm coming from as I selected these players because the Atlanta Dream's in Meg's backyard. So maybe take it away for me if you can.
First of all, I want to say this process is absolutely diabolical. 4 guards and 6 court players. Like, I think I tweeted about this. Like, I twist myself into a pretzel every time trying to get it right. And it just, 4 guards feels impossible. I just want you to know the amount of stress I have trying to find only 4 guards who I think deserve starting spots when there's easily 6 to 8 every time that we vote. The 6 front court players is actually not as hard, but it's also still hard when you have, like, for example, when I talk to lots of different fans over the last several days who were like, this is who they voted for or whatever else. Lots of fans were split on Jessica Shepard and Natasha Howard, and there was a lot of discourse there. So to see them both get there is very interesting to me, which makes me believe that, like, yeah, somebody like an Angel Reese or someone like a Ryan Howard might not get a starting spot. So that makes sense if you got those kind of close things. I would also say it probably is a little bit shocking to me to see that Kelsey Plum may not have gotten a starting nod as well. Maybe she's a reserve. We'll see here in a week or so. But like this process is not fun. Maybe for fans it is, but for media voters, like absolutely not. When I tell y'all, like it is like phone a friend. I am literally, I'm literally writing down every possible player. I'm pulling up my stats to make sure they pass my eye test to make sure it keeps me accountable. It is stressful. So, WNBA, if you're listening here, please just make this position list from now on. Just give me 10 slots, period. So I do not have to add more gray hairs to my already graying head as I try to pick out these all-star players. And now I'm off my soapbox.
And we love the soapbox. Sid, for you, how difficult was this? And if you want to share your ballot, feel free, but let us have it.
Yeah, I agree with Meg. This was definitely, it took a lot of time just to make sure that I felt like I got it right. I would say guards was the position that I was struggling with too, because four just seems so few. I did go with Ryan Howard over Kelsey Mitchell, who ended up being a starter, just like you did as well. I felt like what she's doing on both sides of the ball was pretty impressive, and leading the league in steals. She's scoring a career high. So I thought that I thought she should have been a starter for the guards. My centers were the same as you. The only person that I did not pick that ended up going on to be selected was Gabby Williams. I did not have Gabby Williams. She's also having a great year. The Valkyries are doing really well, so I understand, um, how she was selected, but I personally did not have her. I did want to know going to or about Kelsey Mitchell and how you kind of pointed out, Callie, how the fan votes are 50% and then, the media votes are 25% and then current players votes are 25%. So I think we see here, and again, like there's no wrong answers. Kelsey Mitchell is having an amazing year. But I think we do see the importance of fan votes coming in as well, because I know in the second returns, Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, and Kelsey Mitchell were in the top. So yeah, that was the only thing that deferred from my votes was I didn't select Kelsey Mitchell or Gabby Williams.
Yeah, I also kind of wonder if the like timing aspects played a role at all. Like I think our votes were due this past Friday. And like things have changed, I guess, and like performance wise, like Kelsey Mitchell has had like some great performances between Friday and now. Like maybe fans or whatever like that could have changed, I guess. I don't really know. I know that even like if you were a media member that like put your votes in early, you could have put Kelsey Plum, but then also if you put them in later, like I did, you go, okay, well, she's out for however long with an ankle injury. Like I'm not gonna use that vote since it's already so limited. That was kind of like my thought process. Absolutely, Kelsey Plum was like in like the list I was choosing from. I do think like if you're thinking about honorable mentions, it's almost like our our players that we selected that didn't make it end up being those honorable mentions. But I don't know if there's anybody else that stands out, like maybe Sam, or do you look at this list and think like, man, I can't believe this person is on, or does anybody kind of pop out to you?
I was definitely surprised not to see anyone from the Atlanta Dream at all, but specifically Ryan Howard. Like that was someone that I was
Agreed.
anticipating to be a starter no matter what. And I feel like maybe Meg, you might feel the same way as someone who closely follows the Dream. But I just like I that's something that shocked me. Otherwise, though, I feel like this list seems pretty I mean, there's so many good players in the WNBA that it almost seems unfair to allow, only this many or like, whatever it may be. But I feel like as you guys are voters, I can't even imagine how difficult it may actually be. Because there's times too, of course, like when we go to March Madness or the WNBA finals or what have you, and they send you emails and they're like, "Hey, like, vote for this person or vote for, the MVP of the game," whatever it may be. And I'm always like, I'll get those emails and I'm like freaking out. And I'm like, "Oh my God, what if I pick the wrong thing? Like what if everybody like it's nerve-wracking." So picking an entire roster sounds very, very scary and very, something that you have to put a lot of thought and effort into it. So I respect you guys for having to do that. But otherwise, I mean, like everyone on this list is incredibly talented and they are all stars. But I would say out of everyone, Angel not being there, that's pretty shocking as well. But Ryan
Yeah,
Howard was the one that I was anticipating for sure.
Ryan
she's
is
the
the one that
leading
shocks me.
rebounder. I thought for sure Angel. I thought that the question mark for Atlanta was gonna be between Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray. Like I thought that
Same.
that was gonna be like maybe only one of them makes it, but I didn't think that. Yeah, I'm like kind of floored by that. So that's fascinating.
I will say one honorable mention for me when I was considering guards was Marina Mabrey.
Yes.
She's been having, like, a really, really good year, in Toronto. What she's doing from the three-point line is incredible, and even you talking about recency bias, like her scoring the 53 points, like, that was someone that I almost put as a starting guard. I wish we had a little bit more spots to
I'm
put on
telling
that
you,
because
it's
she's
diabolical, man.
like yeah, so I would say Marina Mabrey was definitely an honorable mention and almost was, I almost voted for her to be a starter.
I'm
I
okay. I'm only
oh,
laughing because Meg knows about the Marina Mabrey of it all. But sorry, go ahead, Meg. And then
sorry, I was gonna bring it up too. I was like, I was like, Callie and I recently had this discussion about Marina Mabrey because, like, the thing is, like, yeah, you're like, now let me say this: Marina Mabrey has been having a fantastic season. Fantastic season. I would not be shocked to see her be in the reserves. But the question for me
Mhm.
and Callie was like, is she in the starters? So I think that's where I think you saw like even some differences among some media members who I think either tweeted or like wrote out their votes of like, yeah, you saw some who had Marina Mabrey, some who had Kelsey Plum, some who had Ryan Howard, some who didn't have Ryan Howard, which to me says there's a lot of parity in the league of a lot of really good players that makes it tough to um to pick. But I will say this. I think that probably, and maybe this is just me, the only players I think who people probably like had no question about whether or not they would be there is probably Caitlin Clark, and the other
Yes.
one is Olivia Miles. Like those are the two that were like immediate sort of like, yeah, they're both getting there. Like it's not even a second thought. Like let me go on about my day. So I think beyond that though, it's like, ooh, this guard play is getting a little like a little tense in terms of like, hey, it's really really good. So just put a pin in this because I feel like when we come back to end of season awards, that is really where we're going to see the separation. And I would be very curious to see who's still in the competition or in the
Yeah.
conversation. Excuse me.
You actually just took the words out of my mouth. When it comes to Marina, it's like, who are you taking off in place of Marina when you only have four guards to
Or
choose from? And you mentioned those kind of locked spots really did feel like Caitlin Clark and Olivia Miles. And then it's like you're really, really picking and choosing. Anyway, I love that we discussed this, and I think you're right. We're gonna have to run it back when it comes to end of season awards. I'm actually like really nervous for that because this was very difficult.
it's stress. I'm telling you, listen, WNBA, if you are listening, please stop making us pick 4 and 6. Just do 10 position lists and be done with it. And I'm
Positionless.
off my yes, I'm off my soapbox again. All right.
So, for all of the WNBA craziness that we just discussed, even touching on some of the negativity, Meg has been at the center of probably one of the most positive sporting events ever. Okay. It's obviously not without controversy of its own, but the World Cup in general has been a melting pot of culture, inspirational sports stories. And our girl has been boots on the ground at Mercedes Benz Stadium in person, covering a bunch of them. Actually, some of the storylines that we have been discussing would not exist without Meg's questions. So, I mean, and that's from a 40-year-old Cape Verdean goalkeeper having a meteoric rise to fame to most recently watching the US men's national team winning its first knockout stage game in 24 years. I think we got to turn to you, Meg, just for a brief catch up to tell us what it's been like as a WNBA reporter making a foray into soccer. Okay, what's been the highlight for you of covering the World Cup?
Yeah. First of all, I never thought that the World Cup would be on my radar in any reality. If you had told me this before, I wouldn't have believed you, but this is as big as it gets next to what the Olympics. So I'm kind of living outside my body right now. It hasn't really set in truly like what I've been doing, but I will say this, I cannot go anywhere without someone recognizing me and someone saying, "Hey, are you a WNBA reporter? Like,
Oh
what are
my
you doing
god.
here?" So it's happened to me a couple times in the last several weeks while I've been covering the tournament, which is so awesome that people know me, from other areas. I think one of the best moments for me was, you mentioned it. I had the pleasure of watching Cabo Verde versus Spain, and that was one of the best games of the entire World Cup tournament. 40-year-old goalkeeper Bozinha, he has an insane lights out performance, and
We love
so
them.
because I'm chronically online, even in between matches, and going to going to press events afterwards, like press conferences and mixed zone. I saw that he had cried on the broadcast, and I was like, "Oh, if I get the chance, I'm gonna ask this." Like, like I knew it might be like a, "Oh, hey, this is great for my country," like sort of thing, but I was not expecting the answer of, my grandparents were, not here. They'd passed away some years ago, and by the way, I really hope that my mom could have been here. It just absolutely hit me in the chest. He's staring directly into my eyes when he's telling me this, and I'm like, "Holy cow!" And so that little simple question, "Why did you cry?" That clip went viral. So many people saw it. Congress got a hold of it and was able to get his mom to the World Cup, which is, again, this is like just chef's kiss for a WNBA reporter to be in that space. I think I'm just a reporter in general and have a knack for finding like what are the emotional moments. And if you watched my coverage from the women's Final Four, then you know that I made like 3 or 4 players cry unintentionally. So I have not lived down the allegations of finding the emotional moments. So this is not helping at all. But I will say this, it has been so fun. I've been truly blessed. And I shout out to USA Today and for FIFA for allowing me to have this opportunity. I hope to continue to get to cover some more matches and to continue writing these stories, because Bozinha is just one of some amazing stories this World Cup tournament. And I think it's really awesome that this has been in my backyard. So I appreciate y'all for giving me a couple minutes to just like, spat off about it, because I have been on coffee and water and vibes covering all this stuff in between WNBA.
I love it. Yeah. Okay. Virginia is like the story to me of the World Cup. And so the fact that you were like central in getting his mom like into the States to watch her son, and like I could cry. Okay. Probably because I have a mom. So it's like a little emotional for me. But I don't know. I really, really love that. I kind of want to turn to Sam and Sid just briefly and ask like what the highlight of the World Cup has been for you guys. Cause we've all had to touch it in some way at USA Today. Like we've been in World Cup world, I guess. So I don't know, Sam or Sid, take us away. What's been the highlight?
I think for me, just seeing all the fans from different countries come and experience our country, and things that, we see every day, like ranch, it's like revolutionary to them and like them getting to experience and everyone just kind of like coming together has been like really neat to see. I saw someone say it's like having your cousins over for a sleepover and like inviting everyone in. So that has been probably like one of the coolest parts, and, like, the moment that Meg said too, like, seeing his mom celebrate after they made it to the knockout rounds was really neat. And, I've been checking his Instagram account to see how many followers he's up to. So, yeah, there's been a lot of really great stories out of it, but I would say my favorite is just seeing, like, the reactions from the fans, from the players, like, celebrating the moment. It's been really nice.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head, Sid. That literally was, going in my brain. I was like, "Oh, the cousin sleepover thing is so real." And just seeing, like, all the fan content that all of our reporters are gathering is, like, so genuine, and these people are just so passionate about their countries and the sport, and that it's, like, refreshing to see sometimes. Because obviously in the US, people are passionate about sports and passionate about their teams, no doubt, but it's, like, something special when it's the entire world like coming together. And it's been a lot of fun to just see everything. I mean, seeing some of these matches. I mean, Mbappe has been somebody that I've been keeping my eyes on. um it's just an incredible player. Messi breaking the or tying the goal record in World Cup history has been incredible to see. Just overall, like, honestly, like, good vibes all around this World
Yes.
Cup. Like, there's really not too many, like, negative things coming out of this.
Yeah. Okay, sorry I kind of burst out laughing at that. I was thinking about Mbappe. I encourage you, anybody who's watching this, please like just go on TikTok and type in Mbappe interviews. And there's like all these good compilations because obviously French is his first language, but he will speak English for these interviews. And there's this one clip where he talks about how he's trying to like learn how to cook, like he wants to be a better chef. And then interview's like, oh, like what are you making? And he's like, for example, nothing. And it's just so funny to me. I'm sorry. I've been like obsessing over Mbappe clips because he really is one of the highlights of this World Cup. But like that one is just like cracking me up. Anyway, we gotta pivot back to the WNBA for a second because the Commissioner's Cup final just happened. We have a new Commissioner's Cup champion, actually the first ever two-time Commissioner's Cup champion for the New York Liberty. This is a win for Sam Cardona-Norberg because she is a New Yorker and New York keeps winning. So I want to talk about that game just briefly. It was a 93-85 win for New York. A'ja Wilson did not play, which is rare for her. She almost never misses a game. If you look over her almost a decade-long career, she's missed like one game per season, if that. So definitely an interesting outcome. I want to ask, we'll go round robin, starting with whoever. Just what was the shocker aspect of the game, and what was your biggest takeaway from the game? Don't all start at once.
Um, oh, um, I would say that I think a lot of people instantly wrote off the Aces when A'ja Wilson was rolled out, and to see them go down by, I think it was 17 points, people were like, oh, okay, we know how this is going to end. But, Jackie Young, like, drove them back to in the driver's seat, got them took the lead with what, in the 4th quarter with, like, 7 minutes remaining, I
Yeah.
think. So, it was competitive, and I don't think a lot of people thought it was going to be competitive without Asia, and then that is where, Sabrina and Stewie kind of took over, and I thought it was cool. One of the takeaways I had from it was that Sabrina looks healthy. It looks like she is back. It looks like she's healthy and she's ready to go. She had like what, 5 3-pointers, including one that kind of sealed the game at the end with I think about 16 seconds left to go. So I thought one of the cool moments for me was when Stewie was named the MVP and she kind of like shared it with Sabrina as everyone in Barclays Center was chanting her name. So I think that the Liberty are healthy and have put the league on notice.
We Yeah. I mean, I'll start next and say, yes, the Liberty looked like the Liberty that we've been expecting this whole time. And Callie and Meg and I have been talking about this for weeks at this point when there was that small struggle with the Liberty towards the beginning of the season and how they were losing games and we were like, what the heck is going on? What is Kristen Marco doing? And yeah, Sabrina being completely healthy again, I think that was spectacular to see. I mean, I think she had a career high 26 points. And of course, Stewie being Stewie, she is an incredible player. So I was thrilled to see the Liberty be the team that we've been expecting them even more now than even just like a week or two ago. But I gotta throw it out there to the Aces. The fact that like, Sid said, Jackie Young and even Kennedy Carter was an incredible addition, on the court for the Aces, and, that's what makes, I think, the Aces the championship team, like, why they are the defending world champs in the WNBA is because they're able to pivot without a star player. They're able to play the way that every team should, nothing should just fall on one player, and they did come together as a team and really make sure that they were going to be the team to play in the Commissioner's Cup, and I think that it was a great competitive game, and oh yeah, it was just a fun one, just a real fun one, but yeah, shout out to the New York Liberty.
I'll give my quick thoughts here. I don't know where this narrative came from that the Aces wouldn't be competitive against the Liberty because have you met Jackie Young? Have you met Chelsea Gray? Have you met Melissa Smith, Kennedy Carter? Like, let me go down the list. These are all very competitive people. And also, have you met Becky Hammond? Like, I'm so blown by that narrative and where it started. I have no idea. But in my mind, it's like, okay, they were going to do their best without Asia. Now that's hard because they do play a lot through Asia, but like the Aces are no slouch. Like they're not going to just roll over because A'ja Wilson is out. Like They've won entire championships without players that were supposed to be in their starting lineups. Like, please be so for real.
Against the Liberty at that.
Yes, exactly. So, no, obviously we're talking about two different time frames, but my point being is that this game was shocking in terms of like, okay, the Liberty built a big lead, but not shocking in the fact of like the Aces nearly walked them down. Like
Yeah.
again, this is kind of what I expect in terms of a back and forth. This is how the Aces and Liberty games go. You can expect this whether it's going to be in the Commissioner's Cup or if it ends up being in the playoffs. This is just how they are, and I fully enjoyed watching, going back and watching that game because I did not watch it live. World Cup priorities, but I did go back and watch it, and honestly, I'm very impressed with the Liberty. They have turned things around from where we saw them at the beginning of the season. Super happy for them to kind of get themselves going. Hopefully they'll get Sabally back at some point and continue, on this upward trajectory. And for the Aces, I'm not really worried or concerned. I think Asia Wilson did the right thing by sitting out of that game. Health is the biggest priority. And so for the Aces, now it just turns, okay, hey, back half of the season or continue into back half of the season, we're going to continue defending our title. And like they said at the beginning of the season, they won another one. So I am very curious to see if these teams will meet again at some point. And if they do,
Yeah.
like, just put a pin in this little Commissioner's Cup game because I'm sure we'll see some of the same themes.
Yeah, I mean, no exaggeration. I did watch it live. I stepped away to, I think, like put something in the sink or something. And then the Aces were down big. Like they were down a lot. And then I came back and they were leading by 2. And I was like, no, they were like about to tie it. And I was like, what the heck just happened? But it was a game of runs. And it's kind of like, to your point, that's like the essence of this matchup, because the way that the Liberty got back on top was like a 10-0 run or something like that. And that's just really fun basketball to watch ultimately. And I'm with all of you. I don't know where the narrative came from that the Aces were just like not going to be in it at all. But I think Jackie Young's 31 points, we can just put that in the bank and we'll remember that for the future. I hope we'll all just like keep that in mind. So I want to pivot. Sam got us covered with Ballin or Fallin. She is going to really just like take us for a ride. We haven't seen these photos this week. Sometimes we have. This is brand new. I'm actually kind of scared. So
I
here we
think
go.
this is going to be a good one. I'm really excited for this one. I had to narrow it down. I found a couple, but we narrowed it down to 3.
This is Sid's first time, so Cyd, I want you to know these are real reactions from us, and I just want you to see how much Callie and Sam are a bunch of haters, so someone else can experience it except for me.
I was gonna say this is my first Ballin or Fallin, so I'm gonna try to like not have my facial expressions like instantly.
The facial expressions are the point.
Yes.
And Meg is lying. Meg is the biggest Ballin or Fallin hater. In fact, we've come up with a metaphor and we've compared ourselves to the American Idol panel of judges. In that metaphor, Meg is Simon Cowell. So please,
Meg or Simon.
Yes.
Okay, listen, to be fair, Callie is Paula Abdul because she's just like, oh, everything is so nice. It's so lovely. I don't hate anything. Like, come on, Callie. And
that's real.
Sam is like,
Sam is Randy.
She's like, dog.
Sam is Randy.
Like,
yeah,
Sam is definitely Randy.
How I became Randy Jackson is like a mystery, but it's hilarious. And so you're our guest American Idol judge. You're like our celebrity guest this week.
Right, you're our celebrity judge.
Love it.
All right, are we ready to hop into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
Alrighty. Well, we talked a lot about her earlier, but we have Marina from the Toronto Tempo. I was very intrigued by this look. So I had to throw that one out there. All right, Callie, I'll start with you then. How are you feeling? Ballin' or Fallin'?
Oh, Money Mabry. This is not good. And I don't feel good about saying that, but this looks pretty wild. It's like there's so much to unpack here. I'm enlarging it. It's a denim jumpsuit with cutouts, and then there's like a detachable necktie and cuff. You know what? I really like the Prada bag. That's what I'll say. The Prada bag is beautiful, but this outfit is a Fallin. I don't even know how we got here. And then the bun really like sets it off. Money Mabry, this was not it, but we still love you. We love you so much, girl.
You forgot the cuffs. She's got cuffs.
I mentioned the cuffs. I said
you
the detachable necktie and cuffs.
And cuffs. I mean, this one is honestly, I don't hate the jumpsuit. I think the jumpsuit is a Ballin. It's the accessories that may be making it a Fallen. But Meg, how are
You may
you
be
feeling about this one? Simon Cowell.
Oh, wow. Hater. See what I say? Hater. Hater. This is actually a fallen for me only because I feel like there is a lot going on, to Callie's point. I actually would have preferred to see just the jumpsuit itself. The jumpsuit itself is actually really cute. Like, I'm not mad about it. I think it's the other accessories that I'm like, I am not quite sure about that. Maybe if it had been like a shirt underneath, because sometimes you do see people do that, put a shirt under a jumpsuit, like maybe, but it's the straps, it's the necktie, it's like the cuff links that are like by themselves. I don't know where that part is going. Um, so, and I'm actually a little sad that Marina put her hair up because Marina's hair is actually like really lovely and like flowy.
Yeah.
So like I would
Yes.
have loved to have seen her hair like down perhaps and then her like accessorize the jumpsuit. So it's a fallen for me, but not because it's like terrible, just because I'm a little confused by the accessories.
This reminds me, I forgot to put my sunglasses on for Ballin' or Fallen, but it's fine.
Dang it.
But she does have the sunglasses. So she's got that going for her.
She does, she does. And the bag is a vibe. I do love that bag, like Callie said.
Okay. Yeah.
But I feel like we're throwing Sid into the fire on first one ever of Ballin' or Fallen. But Sid, what are your thoughts? Ballin' or Fallen for Marina?
I will say in the words of Randy Jackson, "It's a no for me, dog." And I mean this so respectfully. I feel like this could be a play on, like, a Canadian tuxedo, like, when
Yes.
it's, like, all denim, she's in
Sure.
Toronto, she's in Canada. Maybe that's what this look was, trying to accomplish with, like, the tuxedo cuffs and tie, but yeah, it just altogether, it doesn't, uh, I think, work,
All right.
and I mean that so respectfully.
Yes, we always say things with respect here on Ballin' or Fallen, no
Right.
matter
We are
what.
never
It's
trashing
implied.
anybody because we're not the
No,
ones with our outfits
Yeah, like,
being
who are
critiqued.
we? But,
Yeah. Who
we love to
exactly.
we love to analyze. We love to analyze
Yeah, like, I see the intent of this Canadian tuxedo, but I just think, altogether, it just looks like a lot of
for
pieces.
sure. All right, next we have Miss Aaliyah Edwards. So, Sydney, I'll jump right back to you here while your juices are flowing. How are we feeling about Aaliyah's outfit here, Ballin' or Fallen?
I like it. I'm gonna say Ballin. I like, the two-piece set, how she matches it with the boots and introduces another print in her bag. I think it all works really, really nice together. So I'm gonna say Ballin. I feel like, the sunglasses, the pose, the hair, like, all together, it looks good.
The
So
pose
that's
the
what I'm gonna
pose is a vibe,
say.
for sure. All
Yeah.
right, Meg, how you feeling?
Is there something for in between? Because this is like a fadeaway jump shot for me. Um,
It's like a midi.
it's definitely a midi. It's definitely a midi. I love the boots. And the
Yep.
skirt is really cute. I don't maybe it's the contrasting of the prints. I'm not really quite sure. Like I might have loved to have seen like just a more solid top perhaps. And that's where it but like it's not a terrible look. That's not where I'm going. I just think I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. So that's why I was like, it's a midi for me. And I know that's probably not an acceptable answer, but I'm making it one this week.
That is okay. All right, Callie, how you feeling?
Well, once again, I'm really frustrated that I didn't put my sunglasses on. And I had a new pair. I went and got another pair of sunglasses specifically for Ballin' or Fallen, and I forgot them. So I'm bummed about that. The sunglasses indoors are a vibe. We know that I'm a fan of that. I like the chains. However, I think this actually be a Fallen for me. So I'm like going anti Paula Abdul today because
Because
the
she got called out.
patterns.
That's all. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
I know. This is like now I gotta like step up my analysis because I was called out. But I do feel like the patterns are conflicting. Like with I understand that this is a set. It looks like it. Like they both have red and black in the top and skirt, but they're different patterns, and that's like, confusing to me. And also, nobody has talked about this bag that she is. This a bag where it's
Mm.
like it looks like it's furry. It's like a reptile
Yeah,
furry bag,
Oh, it
and
is
yes.
that's also
furry.
throwing me off. She looks good still. I just think like this. We're only talking about the outfit. Like we take the outfit off in a vacuum, I would say this outfit is not ballin', and that's just my take.
That was fair. That was fair. I didn't even really look at the bag. I feel like my brain kind of detached it because I don't hate this outfit. I think it's a vibe. I love the boots. I'm a big boots person. Love the red boots. I think they're awesome. But also just like her hairstyle looks good. Like
Yes.
she finally brought the ice. I always talk about how we need more ice on the
As
WNBA,
usual.
and she
I
brought
just
it.
realized she doesn't have her like yellow and purple braids. Like that
No,
Yeah,
she got
totally
the
like
summertime Fulani braids,
yeah.
okay?
Okay. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like
I
it.
don't
I
Mhm.
know.
like it.
Wow. Okay. All right.
All right,
We like
last
it.
one here. We have Sonia Citron. And going with a little bit of a sporty look here, I'll jump back up. Callie, how are we feeling? Balling or falling for Sonia?
Ballin. I love this. I love it so much. I think you use the right word. It's like sporty chic kind of. Like she looks so good. And I feel like the S is such a vibe. Like is the S for Sonia? We don't know. I don't know. I would hope. But I really like it. Like everything looks good. It's lots of neutrals and like basics, but it's like elevated. And I'm really curious about this bag that she has. Honestly, I have like a bag obsession lately. Sid probably the first time I ever met Sid, I think the first thing I said to her, I was like, "Can I see your bag? Like, what is that bag?" Because I thought it was so cute. Um, but yeah, I'm like obsessed with bags, and I really, really like this one. This one looks like a perfect like work tote, and she's going to work, right? She's going to show up for a game. So I really like this outfit. Ballin', maybe the best one of the day.
I honestly, I agree. I think that this might be one of the best ones we've seen on Ballin' or Fallen. Personally, I think that this is like perfect. Like if I had this in my closet, I'd wear it
Yeah.
100%. All right, Meg, how you feeling? I
I think
I feel
I'm
positive about this one.
I think I'm never gonna beat my Sonia Citron allegations because y'all know how much I love Sonia Citron's game, and I always tweet about how my Sonia Citron agenda is alive and well because I don't think she gets enough recognition for her game on the court and what she does for the Mystics and across the WNBA in general. But this is a ballin' for me because this fits Sonia's style. Like if you've watched her since she's come to the league, very casual, very laid back. If you ever get the chance to speak with her, very casual, very laid back. So this works. I love the hat. The plaid with the S is a yes for me. Also, I maybe it's the millennial in me, but I love a good jean jacket. I'm like, yes, come on, jean jacket. And the fact that she paired it with like, you know, just simple kicks and a skirt, and yes to the bag. It's nice. Sonia pulls it off very, very well. So I think it's sometimes the simplicity works, and this actually looks like something that you would see in like a magazine or that you would see on a billboard or you'd see online or whatever else. I think she pulls it off very well. And yes, I'm never beating my Sonia Citron allegations.
It helps too that this is like a fantastic photo of her. Like she
Yes,
just
it's a really
looks
good
good.
photo of her. Yeah, yeah.
For sure. All right, Sid, bring us home for your first Ballin' or Fallen. How are we feeling about Sonia?
Maybe I'm the Paula Abdul today because I'm going to say balling again. I think that this outfit is just like Sonia. Like it's business, but on the same side, it has like that sporty spice element to it. But yeah, it looks like business as usual. I agree with Callie. I think the S has to stand for Sonia. So, and who doesn't love self promotion? Love the jean jacket. Love like all the colors and how everything just meshes together. I think that this is a ballin' look.
Love it.
I love it.
Wow. Sid's first Ballin' or Fallen.
She did it. She did it.
She did it. Okay, next we normally close with women's sports moment of the week. I think maybe we're all on the same page, so maybe I'll start, which is that Serena Williams made her comeback to Wimbledon for the first time in 4 years, okay? And sure, okay, she didn't get the win, but that went the full distance and she looked strong. And then later came out and said that she tweaked her knee. And so that kind of
Mm.
tells us like maybe we could have seen something different, but ultimately I don't really think it matters. Like I think the reason why it was so exciting is because our tennis goat left to focus on her life, prioritize some things, and then came back when she decided it felt good for her and really said that doesn't matter how she performs because she has nothing to prove. And she's right. She had absolutely nothing to prove. Honestly, it was just a gift to us. And shout out to Maya Joint who got the win and afterward was like speechless. She was like, I don't even know what just happened. And she was talking about how Serena Williams has so much aura and like you just look up to Serena Williams your whole life and then all of a sudden you're shaking her hand because you just beat her at Wimbledon. That's insane. So I think win for everybody. I mean, what do you guys think? Or do you guys have different women's sports moment of the weeks?
Nope, that was it.
I mean,
agree.
overall, like, Serena has just, like, been carrying me through this week, I feel like. Like, she's just been fantastic all around, and honestly, like, women's sports in general this year, I mean, like, also Alyssa Liu, figure skater from the Olympics, also, took a break, came back. We're seeing
Yes.
Serena take a break, come back at 44, like, this is so healing for women in general to see
Yes.
these athletes do what they're doing, and it doesn't even matter that she didn't win, like, it's just the matter that we got to see her again, and that just was what makes my heart very warm, so it's a it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 women's sports moment of the week this week for Serena.
You do what you want when you're Serena Williams. That's all I gotta say.
This is true.
Absolutely.
Right, and I think just the images of her family and her children in the stands watching
Yes.
her play, like, you just can't beat that.
Okay, guys. Well, this was probably my favorite discussion we've ever had. I think I laughed way too much. And also, we touched on some serious stuff, and I'm glad that we did. So, on behalf of Sam Cardona-Norberg, Megan Hall, Cydney Henderson, I'm Callie Finn. Make sure to follow us on USA Today Sports YouTube channel. Keep up with our weekly episodes. You can also catch us on all podcast platforms, and we'll be back with you next week.